Oopsie. Hey, wait. I didn't do something. I didn't get the video up. Oh, no. Let's get the video up right now for you. It should be here in a second. Let's wait and see. Do we have the video? There it is. Hello, it's Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV, coming to give you a live update on what is going on with the Iran war. What we're going to do today is we're going to do an initial stream. I am still here in Chicago. I was here for a work conference earlier this week, and I am actually heading back tomorrow. So tomorrow during the day, I will not be able to stream because I will be traveling tomorrow. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to stream for a bit, and then I have one more Chicago-related thing I need to do. I hear a bell. There's a bell going off. Hey, it's a bell in Beirut. For what, I don't know. I don't know that I've heard the bell before. Oh. Because there it's Saturday night. It's Saturday night. People are saying Easter, but is that when they ring the bell on Saturday night? It's 9:41. It's 9:41 p.m. there. I think we're here, maybe fireworks or something. All right, anyways. Owl Hippie says I've heard it before. So what we're going to do today is we're going to stream for a bit, and then I need to take a break in the afternoon to... Instead of eating here, there's a friend I have been meeting to, old friend of mine I've been meeting to meet up with in Chicago. So I'm going to take my meal break. Instead of keeping the stream going during my meal break, we're going to end the stream. Then I will get my meal, and then I'll come back and we'll probably stream more after my meal. So that'll be the difference today, is that I'll be eating, but we'll take a break from streaming while I eat. Okay? That's the plan. And then tomorrow, unfortunately, I won't be able to stream during the day. Maybe at night, but during the day I won't be able to because I'll be traveling. But I'll be back, and I don't have any trips planned anytime soon, so sorry about all the traveling. We'll give you some updates right now. Let me also mention our moderators. I want to thank them for being here. Mention our moderators. I want to thank them for being here. Now hearing myself twice. Ruth and Leslie Ladyhawk are moderating right now over on YouTube. Thank you. And we have moderating on Twitch, Idaho Star and Matthew Kohai 3. Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha over on X. Thank you. Oh, thanks also to Rune 1033 for the gift membership. That's really nice of you, Rune. Thank you. Also on Facebook, Kay Lowry Body is moderating. Thank you, Kay. We have Diane Allworth, thanks for subscribing. Barry Eisler, thanks for subscribing. Dolly Clark, thanks for subscribing. So the two things to first mention are the search for, hang on. Give me 1 second here. Here, that's better. The search for the missing crew member that's going on in Iran. By the way, the United States government has still not made any official statement about the shooting down of the 2 planes and the missing crew member and 2 helicopters being damaged yesterday. Not a peep. No, literally, I have not seen any official statement from the United States government on this. Nothing. But again, according to multiple reports, yesterday an American F-15 was shot down fighter jet was shot down in Iran. 1 crew member was rescued by the U.S., the other is unaccounted for. There was a rescue operation that started. During the rescue operation, an A-10 Warthog plane was also shot down. The pilot of that plane reportedly flew it out of Iran before it crashed and ejected and was rescued. And 2 Black Hawk helicopters reportedly were damaged during that search. And some people on the Black Hawk helicopters, some crew members were injured. But that's really all we have heard report-wise, and nothing, no official statements on this. Nothing. So we're waiting to hear more, and if I hear any updates on that, I'll certainly let you know. Oh, I think Margaret Riley is modding too. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. Oh, hey, thanks to Anders Goransson for subscribing on Facebook too. They won't comment until the pilot is back safe. Not sure why that's strange. I don't see why. It doesn't make sense to me that the government couldn't at least acknowledge something happened. You can be as specific or unspecific as you want. You could even say, we are aware of reports of an incident in the Middle East. If you want to get really unspecific, you could say we're aware of reports of what happened in the Middle East yesterday. We are unable to comment on this time because of the sensitive nature of the question. We will give you more information when we can. There, that's a statement. I don't see any way in which that statement interferes with anything. So I just don't buy that there's no way of making a statement without somehow putting the missing person at risk. Also, the Iranian state media are the ones who posted the photos of the damaged F-15. I would assume that Iran knows if a plane crashed in Iran. If you released a statement saying, hey, an aircraft went down in Iran, or an aircraft went down yesterday, that's all we can say right now, does that really put the pilot in danger? If the U.S. government says an aircraft went down, is Iran going to be like, wow, we didn't know that even though we posted on state media a day ago photos of this aircraft? You know, it just, really, I can't, there have to be ways of saying this kind of thing that does not put the missing person at risk. Also, I mean, you have government officials who've talked to the press, who said stuff to the press. Even President Trump talked to the press yesterday, but they don't do it in the form of an official statement. Garrett Hack from NBC News said yesterday, I just spoke briefly with President Trump. He declined to discuss any details of the ongoing intensive search for the missing pilot in Iran. I asked if today's events would affect negotiations with Iran. No, not at all. No, it's war. We're in war, Garrett. So we'll have to see what happens. I certainly don't expect the government to come out with a statement saying, here's where we're searching. Here's how we're searching. They're obviously not going to say that, and with good reason. But there's some middle ground here. Thank you. I am Charlie. For the membership. I appreciate that. I am Charlie. Thank you. No, I said this yesterday, one of our viewers said, did they say anything about the AWACS that reportedly got destroyed? I am not aware that the U.S. government has said anything after multiple outlets reported that planes were damaged at a Saudi air base. U.S. planes were damaged at a Saudi air base. I believe this was last week, and photos were released purporting to show a U.S. AWACS that had been destroyed. I have not heard a single comment from the U.S. government about that at all. Maybe they made one and I didn't see it, but I'm not aware of it. All right, so that's one thing we're keeping an eye on. And the other thing that obviously we're going to keep an eye on is President Trump posted about his deadline. People were asking about the deadline yesterday. They were saying, hey, is there still that April 6th deadline that he posted about a week ago and then didn't really talk about after that? Well, it appears there is, at least for now, because President Trump posted today, about 4 hours ago, and said, remember when? Remember when I gave Iran 10 days to make a deal or open up the Hormuz Strait? Time is running out 48 hours before all hell will rain down on them. Glory to God, President Donald J. Trump. Now, initially, he gave a 48-hour deadline 2 weeks ago. I think it was on a Friday or Saturday. Then it was extended by 5 days. Then it was extended by 10 days. I don't know if something's going to happen at the end of the 48 hours. We'll have to just wait and see. Platinum Dose thinks he doesn't know what he's going to do. Platinum Dose says he doesn't know what he's doing. But it's possible he doesn't know what he's going to do. He could change, even if he thinks he knows, he could change his mind. I don't know if he is sure what he's going to do in 48 hours yet. We'll have to see. John Doe thinks the deadline could possibly get extended by 2 weeks. The real Robert James says this is probably the second to last warning. Retired Nikki says, are negotiations no longer going well? He initially set a deadline and then said negotiations were going really well, and then he extended the deadline. More bells. Clayton Roberts thinks he is weighing his options. These are bells, maybe Easter related, from Lebanon. Remember, there are a lot of Christians in Lebanon. I need to turn that down, though. It's a little loud right now. It's a little loud. Hold on. Here is a post from White House Director of Communications, Stephen Chung, who just said, there has never been a president who has worked harder for the American people than President Trump. On this Easter weekend, he has been working nonstop in the White House and Oval Office. God bless him. That's from 2 minutes ago. A lot of people have been writing me and asking if, like, Trump is in Walter Reed Hospital. I have not heard any reliable source say this. President Trump, he didn't really have a lot on his schedule today. When I looked at the schedule last night, I think it had like one meeting in the morning. He wasn't supposed to go do a lot of stuff. Honestly, I took that as they kept his schedule free because this, crisis was going on with the missing with the missing crew member. I was just assuming that. Now, I will also say, he is a human being, so periodically he may need to go to Walter Reed Hospital. Maybe they wouldn't announce when he does. That doesn't mean there's some huge health crisis if he did go to Walter Reed Hospital. So, I see this wild posting about this on social media, that there's some huge thing happening, some huge crisis involving him in Walter Reed Hospital. I've heard nothing of the sort. I can't tell you what's happening, of course, I don't know. But it seems like a lot of people are jumping to this conclusion without what I would say any kind of reliable evidence to. Yeah, his schedule was, the only thing on his schedule was an 8 a.m. executive time meeting. That was it. He wasn't scheduled to do other stuff today. And as I said, given that there's a missing U.S. crew member, my assumption was that they were keeping his schedule clear because of that. Maybe he had a doctor's appointment today that was pre-scheduled and he didn't want to talk about. Could be the case. It doesn't mean there's some huge crisis with his health. But again, I'll let you know, I would just be careful about jumping to these conclusions. I see things posted on social media with just no sourcing whatsoever. And as our viewer MRQQQ Crash says, Trump is older. You can have health problems at any age. Certainly, it wouldn't be a crazy thing for someone of his age to need to go to the doctor once in a while. So I would just be careful about jumping to conclusions that go beyond any evidence we have. He is 79 years old currently. I don't know if this post from Stephen Chung has anything to do with these rumors. Because again, seems kind of random that the communications director would post that on this Easter weekend he has been working nonstop in the White House and Oval Office. So maybe that post came out of people talking about where he was. I don't know. Or maybe he just felt like posting it. Hey, a quick thank you to for the memberships. That's really nice of you, Zolt Lord. Hey, Zolt Lord, thanks so much for the memberships, and also I am Charlie. Thank you so much for the memberships. That's really kind of both of you, Zolt Lord, and I am Charlie. I need to turn the volume down on this because it's raining there. Oh, that's too low. All right, so just to remind you of the schedule today. What's this? Hold on. There's people listening on the scanner to Stratford County, New Hampshire, local police and fire. Why are people, and for some sort of shooting, I guess. Stratford County. Just want to see what that is. Has anyone been listening to that? One viewer, Mahmoud, says they captured him. I haven't been listening. Oh, someone online says someone might have been shooting from their house or something. Hold on. I don't know. I haven't been listening. I'm looking in the chat. I'll keep an eye out. No, I have no information that would be Iran related, but I haven't heard anything about it. So, all right. So I'll keep an ear out to see, or an eye out, both to see what I'm hearing. But again, the schedule today is. Trump just posted 4 minutes ago saying, if you import the third world, you become the third world, and that's not going to happen to the United States of America as long as I am president. I don't know if that's in reference to anything going on specifically today. Scott Johnston says, I bet Stephen Miller wrote that. Anyways. All right, so he posted that about 4 minutes ago. He has not commented at all on his X on or in any other capacity on the missing crew member, nor has anyone from the U.S. government given an official comment on the crew member. Thank you, by the way, John Turpin, for the membership. I appreciate that, John. All right, so again, to remind you of the schedule here. First of all, tomorrow I am heading back to Boston from Chicago, where I was for a work conference this week. And I need to go back. Oh, by the way, thanks Gary Baines for the membership too. I really appreciate that, Gary. Thank you. So I need to travel back tomorrow. So tomorrow during the day I cannot stream. Maybe at night. We'll see what happens depending on how the travel goes. And again, sorry for having two trips so close together. It just worked out that way. It's not my normal way I like to do things. Today, what we're going to do is we're doing this stream now, and then instead of keeping the stream going while I eat, I'm going to... Instead of keeping the stream going while I eat, we're going to take a break during my eating, and then I'll probably come back after and stream more. That's the plan for today. Okay? What's this? Sorry. So that's my plan, is to stream more later. Okay, let's see here. We're going to take some of your comments on the air. We're bringing you updates. I want to mention some other things that have been happening. One of our viewers said, where'd the comment go? Chat is moving fast. Our viewer Luna Moonstone thinks Trump's deadline means nothing to Iran. Iran does not fear him. I don't know. I I would be shocked if Iran opens the Strait of Hormuz in the next 48 hours. But we'll have to see what Trump does. And but I want to mention, I actually thought this was important. Oh, can I find the IDF post about this? Wait 1 second. So the IDF, Israel struck Iranian petrochemical facilities. Presumably, that's important to Iran's economy. Let me show you something about this, okay? So here's what the IDF said. I'm putting it on the screen right now. Can you see this? In Mashhad, Iran, the IDF Israeli Defense Forces struck the petrochemical complex responsible for the production of chemical materials used for weapons. Earlier today, the Israeli Air Force, acting on IDF intelligence, struck infrastructure at the petrochemical complex in Mashhad in southwest Iran, responsible for producing and exporting chemical materials to the regime's armed forces. Now, another question here is it just producing chemicals for the armed forces, or my understanding is these have civilian uses too, but and also, exporting these things. So then you say, well, is the real reason they're being struck to, go after the military, or is it actually to go after their economy, or some of both? That I can't tell you. You can see Israel says, as part of the strikes, the IDF targeted a site housing one of 2 central facilities used to produce materials for explosives, ballistic missile, and additional weaponry. This site is one of the primary locations where a critical component for ballistic missiles is produced. The damage to this infrastructure is expected to disrupt the regime's ability to use the materials produced at the facility for manufacturing various types of weapons intended to target the state of Israel. The completed strike is part of the ongoing phase aimed at deepening the damage to the core systems and foundations of the Iranian terror regime. I want to also show you what Times of Israel's Manny Fabian said about this. Manny says, the IDF confirms bombing petrochemical facilities in southern Iran earlier today, saying the sites were used by the regime to manufacture materials for ballistic missiles. According to the military, the strikes led to a halt in all production of the chemical materials and are also expected to cause billions of dollars in financial damage. Last week, the Times of Israel reported that Israel's political leadership instructed the IDF to shift to striking economic targets in Iran aimed at causing massive financial damage to the regime. So why exactly were those facilities struck? I can't know for sure. I don't know for sure. And also, how will Iran react to this? Seemed important, though. Now the volume's too low. Thanks to Janet B., our member over there. Thanks, Janet. I appreciate it for being a member. Israel also posted some graphics of these petrochemical factories in Mashhad. There's several of them here. Here's a couple of them, which is in southwest Iran. They say responsible for the production of chemical elements used by the Iranian terror regime to produce weapons. So Manny Fabian had a story for Times of Israel 4 days ago. And in that story, the Times of Israel said, Israeli leaders order IDF to cause economic damage to Iranian regime after nearly finishing bombing all military targets. The Times of Israel reported that the army had been reported by Israel's political leadership to start hitting economic targets of Iran. And one of the goals that Israel is trying to achieve, according to Manny Fabian Times of Israel, is the goal of creating conditions for the Iranian regime to be toppled by the people. Although, says Manny, it still remains unclear whether, when or if the Iranian population will rise up against its oppressive government. Now, our viewer, Blackened Venom, says, how to radicalize further 101. Thanks, Kristen McConnell Gates, for the Facebook stars, by the way. Thanks also, Janet B. Hey, Janet, that's really nice of you. Thanks for the memberships. Janet B., thank you. I appreciate that. Please thank someone if they give you a membership or a gift subscription. Thanks, Uncle Fester, for subscribing on Twitch. Thank you so much, Cece, for supporting on Twitch. Thanks, Tango Whiskey Romeo, for your support on Twitch. Thanks, Warlord Wolf and S. Giel 2 for subscribing on Twitch. Oh, I think Netanyahu said something about the petrochemical factories targeted by Israel in the past day in Iran. I think. He might have said it in Hebrew. Is this Hebrew? You're going to hear his voice in a second. That's in Hebrew. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Not going to worry about that right now. Yes, as one of our viewers mentioned, the White House called a lid today, which means Trump is not expected to be on camera. They called the lid in the morning, I think. I saw that reported at, hold on. Hugo Lowell from The Guardian reported it at around 11 a.m. Eastern time. So we do not expect to see the president for the rest of the day. Oh, thank you, April Fool's Doll. April Fool's Doll. Thank you for the memberships. That's so nice of you. Thank you. Emma Nicholson of CBS News had posted about 90 minutes ago saying that a Marine sentry is standing at the door of the West Wing, indicating the president is working inside. That was about 90 minutes ago. Maybe we'll do a poll. Thanks Zardos for the membership. Thank you, Zardos. And also thanks Anak123 for being a member. Thank you, Anak. I appreciate that. Anak123. Hey, so why don't we do a poll here? So as I mentioned, President Trump said, remember when I gave Iran 10 days to make a deal or open up the Hormuz Strait? Time is running out. 48 hours before all hell will rain down on them. Glory be to God, President Trump. So the poll is going to be, what will happen at end of Trump deadline? Okay. Oh, by the way, thanks to Deep Think Now. That's really kind of you, Deep Think Now. Thank you so much for the memberships, Deep Think Now. Thank you. Okay, what will happen? Iran opens Strait. US attacks. Trump extends deadline. Nothing. Okay. So I'm posting that. Now I'm going to post it over on Twitch. We'll see how you guys vote on this. What did I put as the four? Oh, yeah. U.S. attacks. What's the order? Trump extends deadline. Oh, no. Iran opens Strait. U.S. attacks. Trump extends deadline. Nothing. One moment here. One moment here. All right, I just posted the poll on Twitch. Now I have to post it on Facebook. Then we can tell you what people are saying. Okay. All right, the poll is now up on all 3 platforms. Oh, we need the graphic. We need the poll graphic. Here you go. People are thinking about how to answer the poll. They are thinking hard. They are thinking hard. And after they think, they put their answer in. So let's see what people did after thinking. Thank you, Sharon Goslin, for the membership, for being a member. Sharon says Trump will not stop. Okay, here is what people on YouTube are saying. Here is what people on YouTube are saying. "43% say U.S. attacks. 30% say Trump extends deadline. 23% say nothing. Just 4% say Trump opens the strait." On Facebook, it is 52% U.S. attacks, 0% Trump opens strait on Facebook, and then 29% Trump extends deadline, and 19% nothing. So kind of similar to what YouTube said. How about on Twitch? Let's see here. Interesting. So on Twitch, the current top vote getter is Trump extends deadline. 46%. U.S. attacks 29%. Nothing 23%. Iran opens strait 2%. So most of you think that Iran's not going to open the strait. But on Facebook and YouTube, the top vote getter is U.S. attacks, while on Twitch it is Trump extends deadline. Alexander says Twitch chat gets them correct sometimes. Thank you, A380 Smarties, for being a member. Give me a moment here. Thank you to Susan Priest Buchner for the Facebook stars. Thank you. Sam thinks Trump is going to stay. They want to negotiate and stall again. His deadline is, 48 hours from a few hours ago. It's weird because I thought the deadline was 6 p.m. based on his... It's unclear. He said 48 hours a few hours ago, but I believe based on his earlier post, it was 6 p.m. Eastern time on the 6th. So it's actually unclear when on the 6th it is. Thank you, Renee046, for being a member. We're going to wrap up the poll. Thanks for voting in the poll. U.S. attacks won on YouTube. Trump extends deadline won on Twitch. And then on Facebook, U.S. attacks won. Now, one sec here. Thanks, Michael Fergal, for the Facebook stars. Thank you, Michael. And Gamov 5, thanks for subscribing. Uncle Fester, thanks for subscribing too on Twitch. Now, I wanted to show you, also I want to say a quick thanks to Thomas Pedersen. Thomas, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thomas Pedersen, thank you. I want to show you when Trump first posted about, well, not first, but the post about the deadline that he referred to today. The original post about the 10-day extension. I have to find it. That would have been like 8 days ago. Here. Oh, April 6th at 8 p.m. Sorry. Again, it's kind of confusing. Here is what he said 8 days ago. He said, as per Iranian government request, please let this statement serve to represent I am pausing the period of energy plant destruction by 10 days to Monday, April 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. He said at that time, talks are ongoing, and despite erroneous statements to the contrary by the fake news media and others, they are going very well. So, today he actually said it was 48 hours. I forget exactly when he said it, but what, noon or something? But this says 8 p.m. on Monday. So I'm going to go with this is the deadline, because he referred to this deadline in his post today. But in this post, it said 8 p.m. Well, Eastern Time. Okay. So there's that. Let me just mic that. Now, because today when he posted about a 48-hour deadline, that was posted at 10:05 a.m. I'm going to go with the later one. Oh, thanks to, did I thank Renee46? I think I did. Hold on. Thanks, Renee, for being a member. Oh, I didn't thank, hold on. There's somebody I need to thank. Claire Bentley gave 5 people memberships. Thanks, Claire. Thanks for giving the memberships. Claire Bentley. And Mark Westbrook gave a membership. Thank you, Mark Westbrook. It's very kind of you. Also, Link 114, a bunch of new members. Link 114, thanks for being a member. Thomas P0419 has given so many memberships from Sweden. He just gave another one. Thank you so much, Thomas, for all your support. Shout out again to our moderators as well. Ruth is moderating on YouTube. Leslie Ladyhawk on YouTube moderating. LB Prairie Dawn, Idaho Star, Matthew Kohai 3, and Sarah on Twitch. Big thanks. Our Facebook moderators, Kay Larry Body, Margaret Riley. Thank you. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha over on X. Thank you. The Iranian government claims that 5 people were killed in Israel's strike on a petrochemical plant. We talked about how Israel struck Iranian petrochemical plants today, which I said seemed like a pretty big deal. You can see here Tasnim State Media says they claim that there are 5 people killed in American-Israeli attack on petrochemical plant. They say there were 170 injured. This is what they claim. They said 5 people were killed following an attack by the American and Israeli enemy on some companies located in the Petrochemical Special Economic Zone. This attack took place this morning on several petrochemical units in the Petrochemical Special Economic Zone located in Bandar Mashar and Bandar Imam Khomeini cities in Khuzestan province. I gotta see what else they said about that. Hey, real quick, I want to say a quick thanks. I need to thank, so because of this temporary issue, which is supposed to get fixed soon, I can't go back far and see the memberships from like a while ago. So I have to thank people when they do it pretty quickly. So I want to make sure I thank Check-in Fact Checkers for being a member. And also Phoenix 2B just gave, not kidding, 50 people memberships in the YouTube chat. Wow, that's very generous of you. Please thank Phoenix for those memberships. Phoenix 2B gave 50 YouTube memberships to fellow chatters. Huge thanks to Phoenix. Thank you so much. Oh, this is interesting. The Iranian government today said Iraq is exempt from restrictions we have imposed on the Strait of Hormuz. Look. I know that's a little hard to see. Iraq is exempt from any restrictions we have imposed on the Strait of Hormuz. These restrictions only apply to enemy countries. The Iranian Armed Forces spokesperson says, "We say with honesty that the Iranian nation was not alone in the battle. Although we were at the forefront on the battlefield, the hearts and steadfast positions of you, the proud and Muslim people of Iraq, were also with us. Your support continues to be an incentive to increase our determination and steadfastness in the path of struggle. I declare that our brotherly Iraq is exempt from any restrictions we have imposed on the Strait of Hormuz, and these restrictions only apply to enemy countries." Now, I don't know how much Iraq ships through the Strait of Hormuz. I would also have to imagine that if Iran thought there was some Iraqi boat doing something for the U.S., that they might not allow it through. Iran says, "We have deep respect for the national sovereignty of Iraq. You are a nation that bears the scars of the American occupation, and your struggle against America is worthy of appreciation and praise. Today's developments, along with the support you have provided, could provide a historic opportunity for Iraq to end the imposed American presence on its soil, establish lasting security, and end the United States plunder of Iraq's wealth. The nations of Iran and Iraq stood in one trench and hand in hand will achieve victory in this historic battle against the vengeful enemy and the great devil, namely America and its agents, as well as against child-killing Israel." That is what Iran said today. Yes, they had a war in Iraq in the 80s, I believe, Florida, about a decade long. I'll have to read some more about that. Hey, real quick also, I got to thank Thomas P0419 because Thomas from Sweden gave 50 people memberships in the YouTube chat. A lot more people just got memberships thanks to Thomas. That's really kind of you, Thomas. Please thank Thomas. Or, for example, Phoenix2B, or Deep Think Now, or any of the other people who have given you a membership. If you got a membership, thank you so much, Thomas. That's really generous of you. And also, Professor Pound, thanks for being a member. And Ink Model, thanks for being a member, Ink Model. Thank you. Where was this? I saw some report of a Reuters story, but I didn't see the story. See if I can find it. Oh. Hold on a second here. I found it. This was interesting. Faytux Network had seen this, or Reuters posted this story, short story. Look at this. Israel preparing for attacks on Iranian energy sites awaits U.S. green light, official says. Israel is preparing to attack Iranian energy facilities, but is awaiting a green light from the U.S., a senior Israeli defense official said on Saturday, adding that any such attacks would likely come within the next week. The comments came after President Trump issued a 48-hour ultimatum, sharpening the focus on whether Washington would back further Israeli military action against Iran. Dino thinks that's bad news. R. Max thinks the USA president isn't running the show here. He's just a pawn. By the way, thanks to our member Tepi. Tepi says, I met one of the released hostages in 1981. Up D Blue says, let's see what today brings. Thanks also Inked Patriot Queen for being a member. Will Israel attack, and the U.S., Trump has threatened to attack Iranian power plants and energy sites. Is this designed to put pressure on Iran to negotiate? I don't know. Lola Z says, I don't think there will be another deadline. Give me one moment. Oh, give me 1 second here. Hold on 1 sec. 1 moment. Just a moment. I am just doing one quick thing here. Okay, we are bringing you live coverage. So let me just again go over what the schedule is today. So tomorrow I am traveling back to Boston. I've been in Chicago. I was at for a work conference earlier this week. I'm traveling back tomorrow. So during the day, I will not be able to stream during the day. Maybe at night. Maybe at night. If I can get on at night, I will. Okay? Maybe tomorrow night. Today, what we're doing is we're streaming right now, obviously. And my plan is, instead of eating lunch here, hold on a moment here. Instead of eating lunch here while the stream is going on, I am going to be meeting a friend who I've been meaning to meet up with, old friend of mine here in Chicago. I'm going to eat off camera, but also going to take a break in the streaming while I eat. And then my plan is to come back and do more streaming after I eat. So we'll just do it. Instead of just me eating off camera, we'll just stop the stream. And then after I eat, we'll do another stream. That's my plan. That is my plan. So I'll let you know when that's happening. Oh, a quick thank you, by the way. Deep Think Now gave 10 more people memberships. That's really nice of you, Deep Think Now. Thanks so much, Deep Think Now, for the memberships. Much appreciated. Update from the Institute for the Study of War, they posted. They said, China is helping Iran reconstitute the Iranian missile program amid U.S.-Israeli efforts to degrade it. Western media have reported that China has sent multiple shipments of missile fuel precursor to Iran since the start of the war. Iran has been digging out underground missile bunkers and silos struck by the combined force, in some cases returning them to operation hours after strikes, according to recent U.S. intelligence assessments. Iran may be reestablishing access to their launchers hours after strikes, but these launchers are components of a larger system that has been degraded. Reported fear and lack of coordination across some Iranian forces mean that medium-range missile systems are still functioning suboptimally. Iran's ballistic missile program is also a military organization that consists of both combat and support elements, and assessing the overall degradation of Iran's ballistic missile program based on one element of the system, such as launcher availability, is impossible. The combined force has targeted both the combat and support elements, including extensive strikes on research facilities, development institutions, and industrial facilities. China's efforts to help Iran reconstitute could undermine the combined force efforts to degrade or destroy the supporting elements of the ballistic missile program, however. The Institute for the Study of War also says the combined force targeted the Iran-Iraq border crossing in Khuzestan province for at least the second time since the war started as part of its ongoing efforts to target Iran's repressive capabilities. These strikes come amid reports that popular mobilization forces, fighters, have deployed to Basij bases in Khuzestan province. That would be, I guess, Iraqi forces, pro-Iranian Iraqi forces coming into Iran and deploying there. Institute for the Study of War, CTP, previously assessed that the regime may be mobilizing PMF fighters in part to strengthen control over previous protest hotspots. The combined force also continued to target petrochemical facilities in Iran as part of its efforts to degrade Iran's defense industrial base and therefore military reconstitution capabilities. That is from the Institute for the Study of War. At the Study of War, you can check out their posts at the Study of War. Oh, in case you missed this, the U.S. is throwing out relatives of the deceased Iranian Major General Qasem Soleimani, who President Trump had assassinated in his first term. By the way, very quickly, I do want to say a quick thanks to where is it here? What happened? Where'd it go? Zhongyi 1980 for being a member. Thank you. Also, TE88 PFCR, who's given so many memberships, just gave 5 more memberships. Thanks so much to TE88. That's really nice of you. Thank you for all the memberships you have given. So Marco Rubio said, look, it's right here. Secretary Rubio revokes green cards of foreign nationals with ties to Iranian terror regime. Last night, the niece and grandniece of deceased Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Major General Qasem Soleimani. He was killed by the U.S. I want to say it was like 2020 or 2019 or something. Anyways, his niece and grandniece were arrested by federal agents following Secretary of State Marco Rubio's termination of their lawful permanent resident status. Hamideh Soleimani Afshar and her daughter are now in the custody of U.S. ICE. As identified by both press reporting and her own social media commentary, Soleimani Afshar is an outspoken supporter of the totalitarian terrorist regime in Iran. While living in the U.S., she promoted Iranian regime propaganda, celebrated attacks against American soldiers and military facilities in the Middle East, praised the new Iranian supreme leader, denounced America as the Great Satan, and voiced her unflinching support for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, a designated terror organization. Afshar Soleimani pushed this propaganda for Iran's terrorist regime while enjoying a lavish lifestyle in Los Angeles, as attested to by her frequent posting on her recently deleted Instagram account. In addition to the termination of Hamideh Soleimani Afshar and her daughter's LPR status, lawful permanent resident status, Afshar's husband has also been barred from entering the United States. Earlier this month, Secretary Rubio also terminated the legal status of Fatemeh Ardeshir Larijani, daughter of the former Secretary of the Supreme National Security Guard of Iran, Ali Larijani, who was assassinated, I think, by Israel in the U.S. or the U.S. Last couple weeks ago, and her husband, Sayed Kalantar Motamedi. Both of them are no longer in the U.S. and are barred from future entry. The U.S. Department of State extends its appreciation to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and U.S. ICE enforcement for their continued partnership and collaboration in keeping Americans safe. The Trump administration will not allow our country to become a home for foreign nationals who support anti-American terrorist regimes. Now, all of them were here legally, as the announcement said. Hang on a moment here. You can see here, Reuters says, U.S. says its agents arrested Qasem Soleimani's relatives after revoking green cards. They had some of these people had green cards. Did they all have green cards? I don't know. Soleimani was killed in a January 2020 U.S. airstrike in Baghdad during President Trump's first term in office. Iranian news agencies said that Soleimani's family and relatives have never lived in the U.S. and that he had 2 nephews, not nieces? I don't know what to make of that. Redwood says you can't revoke green cards just because you don't like someone. I don't know. I believe that Marco Rubio has certain powers, although I don't know enough about green card immigration law to know if, in theory, someone could mount a legal challenge to these removals. Thanks, by the way, to Scope 103 for being a member. And Bernard Gonzalez, thanks for being a member. Trying to see if I could find something more, some more background on that with the whole thing with green cards. It's an interesting question. So a green card allows you to live and work permanently in the United States. Permanently. So some of them had green cards, some of those relatives. I don't know what the green card rules are. You have to obey the law, but I'm not aware that they broke any laws. Yes, so that penguin lady says, are you allowed to have different thoughts in a green card? I believe these questions also have come up, in President Trump's second term over other people that the administration wanted to throw out of the country. I am not a legal expert, so I can't, off the top of my head, tell you the status of all of this stuff and all the issues here. But it is an interesting aspect of this story that some people are being thrown out of the U.S. who had green cards for things they said. and support, not breaking any laws, at least from what the State Department announcement said. Oh, let me show you what Marco Rubio said. So Marco Rubio himself posted and said, until recently, Hamideh Soleimani Afshar and her daughter were green card holders living lavishly in the United States. Afshar is the niece of deceased Iranian Major General Qasem Soleimani. She is also an outspoken supporter of the Iranian regime who celebrated attacks on Americans and referred to our country as the Great Satan. This week, I terminated both Afshar and her daughter's legal status, and they are now in ICE custody, pending removal from the U.S. The Trump administration will not allow our country to become a home for foreign nationals who support anti-American terrorist regimes. Some bells are ringing, I think, in Beirut. Maybe some of our viewers think they are Easter-related bells. We heard some earlier. And some gunfire. Let's see here. 7-6 said based, send them back, whereas our viewer hold on, I was going to read it. There's another comment I wanted to read, and I'm trying to find it. One of the viewers said it sounds like thought policing. Give me one moment here. All right, hold on a moment here. Thanks to Scope for being a member. Thank you, Scope. Yeah, so I was just looking this up on AI, and this sounds right. I'm not going to double check this, but this I believe this is the case. Gemini AI said there is a law that allows the Secretary of State to deport someone if the Secretary of State has reasonable grounds to believe their presence would have potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences. Now, I wonder if the people will challenge it. Gemini says these cases are frequently challenged in federal court. But yeah, apparently part of the Immigration and Nationality Act, INA Section 237, says, where is it here? Yes, I have it right here. It says, here, this is from the Immigration and Nationality Act. It says it right here. An alien whose presence or activities in the United States the Secretary of State has reasonable ground to believe would have potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences for the U.S. is deportable. Now, I'm not positive that's the legal reasoning that Rubio is using to take these people's green cards away. I also don't know, could they legally challenge this, and how likely would such a challenge be to work? That I don't know. But just to give you some background and some context on that whole thing. All right, so we're bringing you live coverage today, and just a reminder, what we're doing today is we're doing a stream, and then, we're doing a stream, and then I'm going to, in a little bit, go eat, but I'm going to not stream while I eat, and then after I eat, I'm planning on doing another stream. That's how we're doing it today. Also, I keep seeing people ask if Trump is in the hospital. The only thing I've seen about that is people posting rumors online that do not have any kind of reliable sourcing to them. So if you ask me, is Trump in the hospital? My response would be like, well, do I believe something is true just because people are saying it online without providing any kind of reliable sourcing? I have no good reason to think that's true. Now, he didn't have much on his schedule today. He had something in the morning. He's older. And he's a human being, so I'm guessing he's got to go to the doctor once in a while. So could he be in the hospital? Sure. Some gunfire. I don't know if that's Easter gunfire or what. He wasn't scheduled to go to Florida this weekend. Did he stay around because he had some kind of doctor's appointment? I don't know. But again, all I've seen online is random people posting random rumors about it without any kind of what I would call compelling evidence for their claims. Some more gunfire. Our viewer says he's got a widow unscripted, says he's got a war to deal with. Yeah, certainly, I think he very well could be busy dealing with, say, the missing crew member issue from the F-15 that went down yesterday in Iran. Thank you to NV Bad for You for being a member. What is Easter gunfire? I don't know. I'm just wondering, could there be people who are celebrating Easter who fire off their guns? I don't know. Oh, hold on a second here. So I mentioned to you guys that Israel said it targeted petrochemical plants in Iran today. Israel claimed they were being used for military reasons, to support the military. Here is a post from Iran, the Iranian mission to the UN, about that. The US and Israeli regime's systematic targeting of civilians and critical infrastructure in Iran, including the Mashhar petrochemical zone today and the Karaj-Tehran B1 bridge April 1st, constitutes war crimes and state terrorism. These criminal acts violate IHL, international humanitarian law, I assume that is, and terrorize civilians. The international community must act decisively and condemn unequivocally. That's what Iran says. The Wall Street Journal reports that top aides have made the case to Trump in recent days that Iran's power generating facilities and bridges are legitimate military targets because destroying them could cripple the country's missile and nuclear programs, officials say. President Trump has said that he was going to go after, well, first of all, he said that by Monday night at 8 Eastern, if they have not opened up the Strait of Hormuz or made a deal, he's going to start destroying the energy plants. But he's also said he's going to go after bridges, Trump. Remember, he said a day ago, our military, the greatest and most powerful by far anywhere in the world, hasn't even started destroying what's left in Iran. Bridges next, then electric power plants. New regime leadership knows what has to be done and has to be done fast. So he has been threatening the bridges and electric power plants. There's this question, is he really going to start attacking them? The Wall Street Journal is reporting that advisors have been telling him that the bridges and power plants are legitimate military targets because destroying them could cripple the country's missile and nuclear programs. They also say current and former military officials caution, however, that it's not lawful to strike an adversary's infrastructure merely to pressure the foe to begin negotiations or to send political signals. Is Trump going to start destroying more bridges and also power plants in Iran as he has threatened to do? Hasselhoff thinks destruction isn't the answer. Our viewer, Own to Run, says yes. On to Run, not on Own to Run, On to Run. Eliza Jane thinks probably a yes. Another viewer thinks he will extend the deadline again. Harold Stiles says Iran said they will target the water desalination plants if we attack their power. Yeah, I'm going to start timing out people who post this stuff in the chat about Trump being hospitalized and Trump being dead. I don't want to hear it anymore. People in the chat, I think most people don't want to hear it anymore. Again, at this point, it is nothing more than a rumor that people online are saying. There's no, I don't see any kind of significant and compelling evidence for it. I don't know for a fact it's not true. I'm not telling you it's definitely false. I'm not there looking at President Trump right now. I can't tell you for a fact he's not in the hospital right now, so I don't know. But that's the same for every day. But I'm frankly tired of reading these comments, and I do think it's significantly worsening the chat experience. So I'm going to start timing people out for posting about it. Go to your other discussion board that you normally go to and post about it as much as you want. But I don't think most people in the chat want to keep hearing it. Hugo Lowell, who is with The Guardian, who's a White House correspondent. I believe he actually is the pool reporter, the White House pool reporter today. He says Trump has been at the White House all day today, as evidenced by the presence of a Marine outside the West Wing. There has not been any travel to his golf course at Trump National or to Walter Reed. And again, I believe Hugo is today's press pool representative. Yes, he is. Now, I don't know if he's still at the White House, but again, he's a White House reporter. He said as of, that was posted less than an hour ago, there has not been any travel to Walter Reed. Our viewer Breaking Waves says, I think something huge is coming from the USA attack-wise. Trump has said they will be hit hard if they don't comply. By the way, shout out to our moderators. I want to give them a shout out. We have moderating Beth Mythical over there on YouTube and Ruth. Thank you so much for moderating. Also, on Twitch, we have moderating Hang on a moment. Where'd it go? Idaho Star, I got that. Fire Matthew, Kohai 3, and Sarah. Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha moderate for us over there on X. Also, K. Larry Body, Margaret Riley over on Facebook. Thank you. Also, thanks to Michael Fergal for the Facebook stars. Why am I not seeing the chat there? Refresh that. Thanks to Meat Hook for subscribing on Twitch. Nice. Trump has said, hang on. Barry Eisler, thanks for subscribing on Facebook. Diane Allworth, David Brazier, Juliana Martin, Diane Allworth. I said it twice. Thanks, Diane. Charlotte Webb is moderating over there on Facebook. Thank you. Still nothing from the US or Iran on the missing crew member from that F-15 that was reportedly shot down in Iran yesterday. Nothing from either side. Has that person been found or not? We don't. It's not even clear that. I mean, I certainly hope they're alive and they're rescued. It's not certain they're alive. There was the pictures of the debris posted by Iran made it look like quite a hard crash by that plane. I see a post by Iranian state media about the Strait of Hormuz. Let me show you some of what Iran is saying about the Strait of Hormuz today from Fars state media. Passing through the Strait of Hormuz only with Iran's permission, otherwise you will be turned back. The latest statistics show that the average daily passage of ships through the Strait of Hormuz has decreased from 130 to 10 after it was closed by Iran. Is it even 10? I thought it might be less. Anyways, contrary to some media claims, although this figure has slightly increased compared to the initial days of the attack on Iran, it is insignificant and incomparable compared to the period before the war against Iran. Iran says Tehran has repeatedly emphasized that the Strait of Hormuz is closed to enemy countries and governments hostile to Iran, but ships from friendly countries can safely pass through the strait in coordination with Iran and along a route approved by Iran. Now, I don't know if coordination with Iran involves paying them or what. Who knows? According to the Financial Times, shipping industry executives explain that in order for ships to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, governments are required to contact Iran through diplomatic channels, embassies. The ship is then assigned a code that it must radio on the international emergency frequency when approaching the strait. At the same time, Iranian authorities check the ship's documents, including the destination of the cargo and the nationality of the crew. In contrast, Iran is blocking the passage of any ship that violates the specified conditions. The IRGC Navy announced today that it stopped a container ship linked to the Israeli regime in the waters of the Strait of Hormuz with a drone, which led to a fire on the ship. Is that true? I hadn't heard that before. That's a statement from Iran today. Was there a fire on a ship? Did UKMTO post anything about it? I haven't seen anything in the last day about that. Nothing from UKMTO. Jermaine Morgan thinks there's 30 hours left of existence for Iran? So what we're going to do in a couple of minutes is this. For those who missed my announcement before. So tomorrow I have to travel back to Boston. So tomorrow I won't be on during the day tomorrow. But after I travel, hope maybe tomorrow night I can get on the air. Today, in a couple minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go eat. Rather than eating here, I'm going to go eat. Then my plan is when I get back from eating to stream again. So I'm sorry to break up the stream today, but that's the way we're doing it today. Okay? So that's how we're doing it. Now, our viewer Shazad thinks this is the longest that CENTCOM has not posted on X since the start of the war. Is that true? I don't know. The last post by CENTCOM was April 3rd. Now, if you go back, I mean, they don't post that frequently on this account. Well, some days they do, and some days they don't. Some days it looks like they only post once or twice. But nothing since April 3rd on the account. Once on April 3rd. At 7:27 a.m. they posted on April 3rd. 7:27 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay. Oh, I hadn't seen this. Oh, I saw something about this, but we didn't talk about it. Evan Hill posted about it. Evan Hill of the Washington Post mentioned that one of the most important U.S.-based commercial satellite imagery providers, Planet, on whom most media outlets rely, says the government has asked all imagery providers to indefinitely withhold satellite images from the Iran war. Planet wrote to Evan Hill and said, due to the conflict in the Middle East, the U.S. government has requested all satellite imagery providers voluntarily implement an indefinite withhold of imagery in the designated area of interest. Effective retroactively from March 9th, 2026, Planet is moving to a managed access model. We'll have to talk about that more in the next stream. Mr. QQQ Crash says that's censorship. We'll have to talk more about that after. I'll post on my X account at Lookner. I posted a link to Evan Hill's post about this. I'll post a link in the chat. All right, I need to wrap up this stream so I can get some food. And again, I'm planning on coming back on the year after. I'm not going to do the big wrap up because I'm planning on coming back after my meal. So I just thanked the mods a couple minutes ago. Again, I appreciate all of our moderators, and I appreciate, let me just thank them real quick again, Ruth. So again, my plan is to come back on again after I eat, okay? Thanks Ruth, Leslie, Ladyhawk, all of our moderators on YouTube, and our Twitch moderators again, LB Prairie Dawn, Idaho Star, I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3, and Sarah, Linda Belk, Larry, Misha, our Facebook moderators, thank you. Charlotte Webb, K. Larry Body, Margaret Riley on X, and on Facebook, I'm sorry, and Linda Belk, Larry, Misha on X. So I really appreciate all of you for tuning into the stream. Sorry for the shorter stream, but again, my plan is to come on after I eat and stream again. If you haven't, you might want to subscribe or follow the channel or turn on notifications. We have our own notifications system. It works really well. You can sign up with the link. The mods will post the link in the chat to sign up for the free notifications, or you can sign up in the description of this video on YouTube and Facebook. You'll see the link there. But I would recommend sign up for the notifications so you don't miss breaking news. And I will also post, if I happen to see news while I'm off the air, I can post on my X account at Lookner over there on X, at Lookner. So again, my plan, and sorry, I know people have been sending me comments, and I would have liked to have read more comments, but I need to go eat now. And we will, again, my plan is to stream later when I get back from eating. All right, guys? So that is it for part one of our stream today. Really appreciate, thanks to all of our subscribers on our members on YouTube and our subscribers on Twitch and our subscribers on Facebook. I'll thank them more when I come back. Maybe I can... Oh, hold on a second. I can thank them right now. I can thank them right now. Let me thank a few of our... While I have a minute. Thanks to our subscribers on Twitch like Sandy Doggo and Justin D. Winters and My Corona, Shells, Strong One, Hugh J, Guy from the 207, Justin Winters, Dan the Mushroom Man, Judge Hat, Strong One, Wall Street Shaggy, LCS Fox, Canadian Tilde Vio, and all of our other CC, all of our other subscribers over there, our Facebook subscribers, people like Diane Allworth, Brian Davio, Juliana Martin. Thank you. Barry Eisler, all of our Kay Lowry Body, Margaret Riley, Robert Rial II, all of our other subscribers, Christy Claft and others on Facebook, our YouTube members, and those who gave memberships, thank you so much again. Our members like CAC, A380 Smarties, Arc Win, Bo WOG, Dean R, Storm Laughter, Chucky T Plague, Renee, Evelyn in Maine, Turned Off, Janet B, One and Only, Lord Cannabis, CAC, Billy Tan, Jane Jones, Chris Ayers, Macro Geek, Dean R, Marisol DeVille, Dewena, Storklet, Lord Cannabis, Gary Baines, Teresa, Michael Avery, Duchess, Tara Ray's Armor, Bethany, Gregory Scherer, Rune, Turned Off, Sydney, all of our other members as well. All right, so again, I'm going to eat. My plan is to come back after I eat, okay? So I will see you a little later. My plan is to see you a little later on today. That is my plan, to see you a little later on today. So I appreciate you watching, and we will see you soon, later today, right back here with more live coverage at Agenda Free TV.